All right, welcome everybody to our group call for the 18th of May. And I'm hoping today goes without any issues because yes, last week we had problems with the microphone. So I'm monitoring that every few seconds to make sure it's working perfectly. Anyway, I hope you've all had a fantastic weekend. We've got a really exciting call ahead. We've got an incredible new feature that is inside our analytical strategy and is going to be later put into our other strategies. So an extremely exciting feature with auto-optimizing the strategy templates. So we'll look at that a bit later on the call. But let's first see what we were able to do last week. So last week I tried to cover some of our manual trading and templates on how to trade that. So we're going to look at that on this call. And we're also going to look at the performance for last week regarding that. And, again, some more of the manual trading. There's also a video that's in our YouTube channel that is, regarding a Jumpstart program. So it's only a 12-minute video, and it's really ideal for new individuals who want to, experience the very best system that exists for trading. I mean, come on, we have it here. So this outlines it a little bit. And just to give you a little taste of what it is, you've all been watching the signal chart a few minutes ago, and look at those incredible signals that have been pumped through there. So part of that Jumpstart program is teaching you how to trade this chart. I mean, it is an absolutely phenomenal chart and system to trade, which also delves into the automated side of things. Okay, so please check out that video if you are new, if you're interested in trying the DTB system out. It's got an incredible starting price, so definitely check that out. And I'm going to just monitor my chats over here and make sure everything is working as it's fine. Yes, I got confirmation that everything is awesome. Okay, good stuff. Okay, and then we're also going to look at a manual trading workspace. So manual trading workspace has been specifically created for you guys to really take advantage of using the system and looking at a few different ways of looking at price effectively. So we'll be doing that. And as mentioned, we're going to look at this incredible new feature on the Analytical strategy. This was released last week, but I actually picked up some, a few little issues with it. There were a little bit of inconsistencies with some of the people trading it. We should all be getting the same results. So I've spent about 40 hours this week alone on this specific feature to make sure that it is working as it should, which is, another 60 hours I spent previously on it. So this is a groundbreaking, revolutionary feature, and I don't think anything like it exists anywhere in the, retail world of trading. So we've taken NinjaTrader to a whole different level over here. That's basically what we've done. And we're also going to look at our game plan for the week ahead. Okay, so let's do all of that. I'm just amazed by this signal chart that we have. I'll quickly bring it up again. We've had signals all the way up here, and it's like 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, 180 ticks that have been moved, that has moved since those signals actually presented in a one-way direction. Pretty powerful. All right. Let's bring up the Discord chat. Okay, so there's a workspace inside the DTB system that I've given you guys, and I traded this workspace. So this is an example of what we actually did, and I tried to cover this last week, but the damn audio wasn't working. So, this week I'm going to just go through it again. So it was regarding, the workspace that we have, using that signal chart we were just looking at. And what I actually did is I just documented some of the trades that I actually made. So if you look over here, you'll see, that's where I entered. You see the bar coloring, breakout marker left behind, Fibonacci levels, like all of that's there as clear as day. But then we also had our two supporting charts, which were giving us really good signals. There was the break of the brick wall, bar coloring red, This one had already broken through, so it was an extra confirmation. What I also was looking at is our trending and our flat baseline charts. So, as discussed numerous times on these calls, the price is either going to do one of two things. It's either going to return to the baseline or it's going to form a new baseline. We don't have to mess around with different chart patterns and candlestick analysis and, all these different, things that complicate trading. We're looking at a very, very simple way to view price. And it's so clear as day what's going to happen with price. So like over here, I predicted, I'm going to go for this baseline break. So that's what I did over here. And it was just based on what I was looking at on these charts, predicting, the price is already, it was at this level, I'm predicting, okay, well, because the price is already there at 183 ticks from the baseline, it's only got to go another 16 ticks and it's going to break the baseline. So the chance of the price breaking the baseline at this stage is very high. So that's why I moved my target to where the baseline break. Again, also looking at our flat baseline chart. Same thing over here. The price is either going to return to the baseline or form a new baseline. Very, very simple approach. So over here, as you can see, it was just slightly further than this, but we took it. And then that basically ended up, and you can see it's only a small it's just a small movement in price. I mean, look at all these bars, okay? All these arrows, all these bars, all these signals. All we did over here was a tiny little, like 2.5 bars worth of, profit. And we had good confirmation from our Fibonacci levels. We had an arrow, bar coloring. So, that's like a $400 trade right over there. So there's so many incredible ways to be able to scalp this type of chart. And I mean, that's how basically simple it is. And, sometimes when you're entering a position, there's like a breakout marker left behind, all we're doing is, this was like a 3/4 of a bar. So if you look at 3/4 of a bar on a 30-30, that's $100. And with only one bar as a stop loss. So that's like a major, a minor little scalping trade of like $100. I mean, so it's like one bar. I mean, it's like, if you can't find little opportunities like this throughout the day, then, what's the point, right? And these signals that we have on our signal charts are providing ample opportunities to enter positions. And again, it's like just so very, very simple. And if you can make $100 just like that, you're only paying $59 a week for your membership. An entire week subscription, if you're paying full price, at the most expensive rate, you're only paying $59 for the week. And you've got access to an entire system. You're not just got one indicator or one bar chart or, one strategy. You've got like 10 strategies, 60 indicators. You've got an entire system over here that is, making it very, very simple to be able to trade the market. I'm not saying easy, I'm saying simple, because it's never easy, should I say. Here's another example over here of, taking entries off breakout markers left behind, momentum line up and down, looking at this, looking at our confirmation charts over here, which is our, the two charts that we have accompanying it in the workspace. Again, looking at, that was just one bar that we're targeting. It's like a very, very small little profit target. And all of that ended up to like, between this one and the previous one was, like $600 in there. Here's another one here. And this was me just scalping this chart, like ongoing. Like, as you can see, there's all my markers left behind. I was sitting trading this chart for 4 to 8, about 4 hours on and off. You can see there's a bit of a gap here. I didn't do anything, about an hour gap. So just scalping that chart, looking at little entries, taking, scalping trades. I was able to, do about $2,000 in that short period, or that's actually longer, between 12 and 8. But, that's just the end part of the chart that I was looking at. So you can see there's gaps in between here. like 2 to 4. So, just when I got a chance, when I came to my PC, opened up the charts, like, wow, look at this. It's there, I mean, I had the chart loaded. So it was very easy to see what was happening on this chart and just take these, the entries based on the signals that we're getting. So, I mean, that is the absolute incredible power of this. And thanks, Robert. Yeah, the flat baseline chart. I mean, what a pleasure. I mean, looking at that chart compared to a 5-minute chart, I mean, it's an absolute no-brainer as to what you would actually be using. So again, manual trades, there was a sell. So this one was a little bit touch and go. The reason why I took this one is because the momentum line was facing right down. But again, very small stop and a small target, and then what happened is when the price returned to this level, I actually took an additional trade because now it's like really clear the price is going to come down. And I actually used a brick wall indicator, which is our SI indicator, as you can see there, as an extra confirmation that this is a very critical point in the price. And then like that was a hit there too. So, that was like 246. So like all these little opportunities are presenting all the time. And I'll just go through one more regarding this. So here's one with, there's a last level left behind. There's the shadow trading volume marker, momentum line facing up, long entry. Even though our bars are gold, we've got divergences, or we've got breakout volume arrows for my shadow trading we've got here, and our breakout volume for my shadow trading also. Momentum, there's a lot of things that are telling us, okay, there's a high chance that this price is going to reverse. So looking at that, there we even had a breakout marker left behind, bar coloring change. You can see not a very far stop from where we are. Looking at that. And all I was doing here again is I looked at my baseline chart, my flat baseline chart, and I said, the price is either going to return to the baseline or it's going to form a new baseline, because that's all it can do, right? We're not looking at 5-minute bars where there's, all different size candles and all different size wicks. It's all over the place. Like, we have got guaranteed price levels. I mean, how incredible is it for you guys, especially you new guys, looking at guaranteed price levels? I mean, it is such an amazing, simple system that, is used to determine what price is going to do. Because as we said, price is either going to return to the baseline or it's going to form a new baseline. It can't do anything else. And, seeing these guaranteed price levels, it's completely revolutionary in the world of trading. And then going that same thing over here, it's like, okay, the price is either going to return to the baseline or form a new baseline. So over here, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to target this baseline instead of this baseline. And if I had left it, it probably would have gone to this baseline anyway. But exactly the same type of concept. Price going up, breakout markers left behind. These breakout markers, if the price reversed around them, like they did over here, then we could have exited that position, seeing what price was doing. But ultimately, it came back up, stayed up there, bounced a little bit down, momentum line facing up beautifully, and then price back to the baseline. I mean, how bloody simple is that? I mean, this is what you guys have. Now, granted, this is a 200 chart on the NQ trading during the Asian session. So, when you're using this concept during the US session, you would do like a 400 chart. So like a much larger chart, but we'll look at that in a second too, because obviously the price is a lot more erratic and manipulated during the US session. So that is just, what it is. So like I was doing this live trading on my account, showing you guys, come on, use this goddamn system to its potential. You've got the most incredible tools over here. There's absolutely no reason why anybody can say, oh, I can't be consistent, or, I can't make the system work, or, I can't. I don't want to hear I can't, because I've put tens of thousands of hours into the system to make sure that you can. Okay, so let's make it work. Well, it does work. You figure it out. You know, you just use the system like it was designed to be used, and you just learn the charts. You know, learn the system, learn the charts and how they work. So a lot of that was actually done, and I even created a chat in Discord. I even created a manual trading chat in Discord over here, which explains exactly how the system is used, how to load the workspace, what you're looking at. I mean, you can see there's a shitload of time that's been put into this to make sure that the message is delivered properly so that you guys can make use of the system. I mean, goodness gracious me. What else can I do? Okay, so what I'm going to quickly do is I'm going to just go to my control center, and I'm going to go to my workspaces. I'm going to close this workspace for the for this thing, and I'm actually going to load that workspace. If we go to workspaces and we go to that one over there, you see, I said scalping ideas, manual trading. That's the exact workspace that that chat was actually covering. So exactly what this was covering. You know, this is the workspace where it says at the top, you know, workspace created for this, calling scalping ideas, blah, blah, blah. Everything listed over there. Well, that's the workspace we just loaded. There's your signal chart, and there are these charts over here. So the basic concept of this setup is to, you know, wait for the workspace to load. And you'll see that I should open up this chart, see how many days are loaded over here. It should just be a few. That's a bit too many. 20th of April is way too much. So what you can do with this is you can go to 11th of May to 18th of May. We only need the last weeks of data, because basically what we're doing here is we've got an indicator that is telling us the heartbeat of the market. You know, that is exactly what we are doing over here, is determining the heartbeat of the market. So loading that up, and I'm just going to load those days to make sure we got that. And our data series for this workspace only needs to be 2 days is fine, 100%. And we'll give this a moment. Okay, so the basic concept of this is to open up your strategy analyzer. And this is the strategy that's got this auto optimize feature, which is wickedly incredible, which we're going to cover in a few minutes. But the idea with this specific workspace, and this is for manual trading, right? So the idea behind this is to take the analytical strategy one in the strategy analyzer, okay? And I think there might even be a template loaded for this. There we go. NQ, MNQ, scalping ideas, manual trading. I mean, it's there. Even the template has been created for you guys. Okay, so the template is there. And what that's going to do is it's going to populate the optimization for setting A and B. And then we can adjust the trading time. So because it's 8 p.m. right now, so you can say, you know what, I'm going to be optimizing from 8 p.m. up until 3 a.m. That's fine. Whatever time you're going to work at. If you want to work until 1 a.m. or midnight, your time, that's good. This is New York time, right? So we're doing this, and we're optimizing the same signals. We're not using daily stops and targets, because remember, we're just looking for the brick walls of price. There's your 30-30. Again, our start date, always click on, you know, the start date. Always do the start date today, and then go back into it, and then choose like the last Sunday. Same thing up until today, up until today. That should be fine. And we are going to run this. Okay, so this optimization is going to run. You'll see it only takes a few seconds to run. Okay, I don't know what that is. Oh, Jesus. I know what that, actually, I know exactly what that was. Sorry, my bad. There was one little setting I didn't do there. One little setting I just realized. Silly me. Okay, we'll go back into that. See, NinjaTrader also just doesn't give you a bloody chance, does it? It just says, I'm going to shit myself, and so what? Deal with it. That's basically what happened there. Okay, so I realized exactly what happened there. That specific template was created before I made a small update to the system. So if I go template and I go load, and I go that scalping ideas one, and if you scroll down a little bit, you will see over here that this profit and loss text color, that I programmed this thing to automatically default to a value, but for some reason NinjaTrader decided, you know what, we're not gonna respect your defaults. Anyway, so that is the issue that caused that over there. You need to have a value in there. Okay, so again, I'm going to go to today and select 11th, and I'm going to go up until here, which is here, and which is fine. I'm going to save this again, and I'm actually going to overwrite the template. So when you guys run the script a little bit later, this will have updated. Okay, so that's what we're doing. We're optimizing that. We're going to run that. Okay, so there you're going to see it's going to run. It's going to take a few seconds to run. And all that we're doing over here is we are looking at the chart, and we're looking at the results. So and all you have to do is take the top two results. So you can see there it says 450, 248. Those are the two settings over there that are on top. So remember, 450, 248. Okay, so then we minimize this. We go to this chart over here. We go to the indicator. And actually, before we do that, I need to go into the data series of this one. And I'm just going to choose a custom range again of literally the last week, like we did, because we're matching the analyzer, right? So 11th of May, and I'm going to do the same on this chart, which is the same thing over here. Apply and okay. Okay, so what did that say to us again? It was a 450, 248. Okay, so indicator. We're going to change this to a 4 and a 50. And this one is going to be a 2 and a 48. 2 and 48. Okay, so that's basically what you have done over here. You've set up your signal chart. You've run your optimization. Now, you only have to run this optimization maybe every hour or 2 hours. If you're going to be only trading for the next hour, you just have to run it once, basically. So it's just your initial setup. You're running it once, and then all this is doing now is it's giving you a basis of, okay, where are these brick walls? And we've got arrows and stuff on the chart. So if you want to go into it, and for some reason these arrows are staying there permanently, which is a little bit odd. I might review that, but it's not a problem because you can still see the brick wall. So if you look at this chart over here, you'll see those are the brick walls. You've got the bar coloring. There's the bar coloring, and then you've got your signal chart on top. So with this, you can say, okay, well, now I can start looking at taking positions. Now, if you loaded this a few minutes earlier, you would have been in all of these short positions all the way coming back down from when this was red. Okay, but not only that, like I showed you in the previous screenshots, and all those Discord screenshots is trading this specific setup. So we're also looking at our trending and our flat baseline. There's our trending and flat baseline charts. So, again, we've got a setup here is, the price is either going to return to the baseline or form a new baseline. As you can see, the market opened over here at 6 p.m., stuffed around a little bit, formed a new baseline, almost formed another one, came back down. So a bit of manipulation on the go today, of major up and major down. I mean, what the reason for that is, only they would know. But, again, you've got your You got your charts, baseline breaks, running the baseline. You've got your indicators over here giving you extra confirmation on what is happening with price. And what I also did is I went into the indicator settings, and on this specific chart, as you can see on my previous screenshots, is I added the SI indicator. Now the SI indicator is the exact same one on the bottom, but on this one, I only selected 2 and 2. So 2 and 2, and I made sure that the paint bars was not active because, we're having the shadow trading indicator give us the paint bars on our trading chart. So doing this, what this is giving us, if we, once we load this, is it's giving us these extra levels over here. You can see these cyan, green, white, and turquoise. Those are extra levels. There's another one over here. So those are prices, those are huge prices of interest. Those are the brick walls where, institutional levels where they're really deciding what they're going to do with price. So the price is either going to very often return to them, but once there's a breakout, the price is going to run. And then you're going to have continuations. There's your marker there. not marker, your volume, your SI indicator. And then the very right of the chart, it's telling us, like that's the last one. So again, we've got, look at our red bars. There's our brick wall. So we know if the price goes above this brick wall, we know it's likely to go up. But as long as it's staying below this brick wall, we're likely to get sell trades. And of course, we've got all our breakout volume markers left behind. We've got all of this in play to really give us a very, 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 very clear depiction of what price is doing. Okay, so that is what I really wanted to cover on this. And the exact same thing is going to happen over here. As soon as because of this over here, this is going to reset back on the next bar close. If I just go to my indicators, I just want to check something over here. The tick distance counter is there. I just want to see if this actually resets to the current bar. It does. Okay. So you don't have to have this on each tick. It's only going to show something like this when there's a major up and down at the same time. But generally, the price is either going to go to this price or it's going to go here. That's the only two things it can do. And of course, you got your tick distance counter, which is telling you the price is currently 74 ticks, 76 ticks away from the baseline. Okay, so that's that. And you've got a few other markers you can put in there and a few other Fibonacci levels and whatever. But, that is the principle of that. Same thing over here. That's where the price would need to go to form a new baseline. Now, I mentioned earlier that, if you're running this during the US session, and, I don't encourage you guys to trade between 9 and 11. I mean, that is the biggest manipulated shit fight that exists in the world of trading is the US session, 9 till 11. There's just, it's like a loud football match and somebody, murders somebody. It's like everyone's jumping and shouting and screaming. It's very difficult to pick up who murdered who. But, if you're sitting in an auditorium and you're at a funeral service and somebody stands up and shouts and stabs somebody, you're immediately going to be able to pick that person out. And that's similar to what the manipulators are doing in the market. When it's all crazy and busy and hectic, it's very easy to hide the manipulation and the corruptness behind the scenes. So, if you don't, especially if you're new, we don't need to trade, the 9 till 11 time. We did for a game plan for a while. But if you want to do some manual trading and you're looking at a few different charts, trade the Asian session, between 6 p.m., 6:30 p.m. New York till midnight, depending on where you are, obviously in the US. It'll help a lot, with that. But also from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m., New York time. That's also a decent time to trade because we haven't got John Wayne and his cavalry, trading the markets going crazy at that time. Okay, so, in that type of session, you would say, you know what, instead of having a 200, so you would load the exact same workspace, which I'm going to be saving. And then instead of having a 205 baseline, you go into your data series and you can say, you know what, I'm going to look at a 400, okay? And my flat baseline, I'm going to do the exact same thing over there. I'm looking at a 400. And you know what, because it's a busier session, instead of going to a 20/20, I'm actually going to go to a 40 and a 40. So 40 and a 40, and data series, a 40 and a 40. So all I did is I changed my two bottom charts. In my strategy analyzer, I'm doing the exact same thing over there. I'm choosing a 40/40, and I noticed there I did it on the wrong bar size, but that's okay. So there I'm doing a 40/40. I'm optimizing the market, exact same type of principle. I'm putting my brick walls 850, 750. So then I go do that. Indicators, and I go to here, and I go 850, and I go over here, and I make this a 750. Now sometimes it's not a good idea to put them both together as the same, but you still got the coloring of the bars, you've got the brick walls, you've got your trending baseline, your flat baseline. So this is more suited to the New York session. Now, if we go into our indicators, because we changed, our bar size, all we need to do is go to our tick distance marker. Sorry, and I know I'm going very fast, guys. Shit. But this is how you're going to become with this system. It's going to be like bam, 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 because you're mastering it. So, you're going to work with this thing as I'm now doing, very effectively, running through all the settings, because it's just making so much sense to you, and you're going to smash through it. So over here, I'm going to make this a 405. Okay, so like that's telling us, okay, the price has to go there to form a new baseline. Now you might say, you know what if I want to know where the middle of it is? Well, in that case, if you really wanted a few extra little tools on your chart, you could say, okay, well, I'm going to add the trending baseline indicator over here, and I'm going to create this. Okay, and guess what? Now it's giving me the percentage values. Okay, so now I've got the percentage values. So that's 23, 30, 50, 61, 76, and then 100. So now you can see as the price goes up and down, you can see what percentage it is at. And then you might say, you know what, if the price touches the 76.4 and this is all green, I'm going to go long to predict a baseline break. If it comes back down to the 61.8 and I'm seeing red bars, then I'm going to predict a baseline breakdown, and then you're watching the charts. Because remember, 10 of these bars is one baseline break. It was one of these candles. So, you're able to do that type of thing, and the exact same thing can be done over here. You can go to your Fibonacci levels over here, and this one here is your DTB WickTrader flat baseline, because we're looking at a flat chart. Okay, and over here, we're going to add our same thing over here. And that's also giving us the percentage values. Okay, well, now the price, look, the price is at past 76.4. We know that the price has only got another 68 ticks to go to break that baseline. So what do you think is more likely to happen over here? The price returning to this baseline, or to break this baseline based on everything that you're seeing over here? We literally have, looking at this chart, yes, the price did return earlier, but this was the market open. But look at where it is now. Look, there's the price 376, 368, 373, 370, very likely to go and break to this baseline. So we're watching, okay, there's now a brick wall that's forming on this indicator. Okay, so we've got to monitor what's going to happen around the price of this brick wall. So, when you're looking at this during a faster market, because obviously you're looking at during a faster US session, you can be taking much larger positions or longer term positions to predict baseline breaks. So there we've had a green. So if you were in a short trade there, much sooner over there, you would actually jump out of that position, because now we've got a green bar and we've got a brick wall showing the other direction. Now you could be opportunistic over here and say, well, I'm going to enter a long trade over here and predict the price going back to the baseline and put a small stop just the other side of the baseline break, and obviously monitor this. So you can take one trade now for 350 ticks target with the 60 tick stop, but then obviously watching what the price is doing around these brick walls. Because remember, the price is going to form these brick walls, but it doesn't mean the price is definitely going to break through, because that breakout marker, or I keep saying breakout marker, that brick wall on this chart is above the price. So the price really has to break above this brick wall, and I'll bring it on a larger chart. You see over there, that's where the brick wall formed, and the price stayed below at that very moment. So over here, you can see that's where the brick wall is. The price is currently above, but you ideally want to see a break away from that. As you can see, the price could be around the brick wall, but a break away from it is generally where you would make your decisions of entering positions. So there we go. Same thing over here. The price is either going to return to the baseline, form a new baseline. We're going to watch what's happening on this. So, just by looking at charts like this, and I mean, how much simpler is that than looking at, say, for example, a 5-minute chart? Okay. I mean, how can you tell any guaranteed price levels? How can you tell anything from this chart? You can't basically tell, anything at all from this chart. And then you have to go and understand what dojis are, what head and shoulders are, all those things. You got no guaranteed price levels over here. You're going to be drawing trend lines and all that. Obviously, this makes it look very easy. Oh, look, it's so easy. But yeah, this type of setup, look there, the price went and broke to the new baseline. See, price stayed below, price broke below, bada bing, bada boo. Okay, so hopefully this is like, a bit of a, and then we've got all the indications over here. This is all going down, down, down. Okay, obviously we've hit a new low over here on this Fibonacci level, but that is all still there. I just want to check my chat. So remember, there's a group calls chat in the thing over here. So if there's any messages that you want to put in during the call, you can do that. And let me just check if there's any over there at the moment. No, good. I've had okay, no problem. So there's a group calls chat in Discord. Pop in any questions if you want over there. But like, see, that was a great example of using a larger baseline chart during a busier session. Now, obviously, we're not in a busy session now, so I wouldn't be going for a large chart like this. But who says you might not want to just chase 1 or 2 bars of a larger bar size? Obviously, we optimized this period of the day, which was now. But remember, if you want to trade, say, between 12 p.m. and 4 p.m., then you would adjust those specific sessions over there, right? So you're going to put there 4 and 4, and then you would run that. So now this optimization, like you would run if you're going to be running the US session. And that's giving you results as if this strategy was running with these very specific settings. Those are the settings of this. So there's 550, 548. Okay, then you would adjust those there to match the session. So all you guys are doing is updating your bar size. Okay, you're updating your bar size and and your trending baseline and flat baseline charts to match the session that you're working in, and get rid of a stupid 5-minute bar. I mean, you don't want to go backwards. You don't want to go and complicate your your trading by going and studying 17 books on candlestick analysis when you can look at something as simple as this. Okay, great. So I covered that a lot, and I really, really hope you guys use this template. And like I said, I'm going to just save this workspace again, but I am going to save it. You know what? I'm going to keep it. Actually, I'm going to keep it as the 2020 because, that's how, you guys, I want you guys to trade this during the Asian session. So I'm just going to readjust these to a 20 and a 20. And you know what? You don't even have to have the range on there. If you can, just keep it there. It's actually better. Okay, and going back over here, this was a 2020. So again, if you trade in the US session, have this as a 40-40 to match your bottom charts. So that's the one thing we didn't do, was make this a 40-40 in that last example. So whatever your bottom charts are, make sure your top charts are doing the same thing. Look at our brick wall left behind, a brick wall over here on this, a momentum line facing up. That's a nice signal over there. I just want to make sure I adjust this back to the right size. Okay, so back to I just went to a 200 over here. And I went to a 200 over here. And remember, when you change any of those values, go and adjust this too, right? Because we just adjusted that. Giving our percentages again, indicators. And again, this is going to give us our values back to the 205. So why do we put 205? Because it's the bar sizes combined. Okay, 205. Okay, so there we go. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. Look, we've got, okay, we haven't run optimization on these values, but very often you can even just load up any damn chart. It'll tell you, where those brick walls are. Okay, so workspace, I'm going to save this. And, oh, hang on, strategy analyzer. I need to adjust this also because this was a 20 and a 20. And what I wanted to do was go from like 8 p.m. till 3 a.m. for your guys doing the Asian session, which is the best session to trade actually for simplicity and just, price moving semi-orderly. And I'm going to save that again as this one over here. Yes. And I'm going to go to my workspace and I'm going to save that. Save. And if you guys want to create a variant of it, you can go workspace, save as, and you can call it, something else. You can even create a 40-40 and a 20-20 separately, so you don't have to go and edit the values. So, I mean, there's a few things you can do to make it very, very simple. But, that's how we've basically, done that. Okay, so I'm going to go to my workspace now, and I'm going to close this. I do want to save that. I did save it, but I'm going to save it again. Okay, so next on the agenda. So that was a bit of a drawn out one, but I firmly believe if you guys can master manual trading and you can use a very simple setup like we just looked at, you will never ever look back. You would never again go and waste your time looking at minute bars or any other type of bars because, it takes all the complexity out of it, looking at a very, very simple guaranteed price level chart. Okay, so next on the agenda was, let's just see. Okay, we covered the manual workspace. We covered that. Oh, yes. Okay, analytical strategy. Perfect. Okay, so Let's open up a new chart. And I'm just going to make this an M&Q chart. That's fine. We're going to go DTB bars 2020. That's okay. And the days are fine. Okay. Actually, I don't need to load 5 days. That's fine. Okay, so I'll just activate my chart trader so that it's on the side there. So strategies, analytical strategy 1. Okay, so you're going to notice in the settings of the strategy, you've got this auto optimize feature, which has actually been there for a while, but we've never really used it. This is the main feature we're going to cover on this call, in this section. But over here, we're looking down. We've got 2 sections over here. So this one over here is mainly used for optimization. So if you untick these 2 boxes during optimizations, your optimization is going to run a lot quicker. But if you just leave the include trade history ticked and exclude the indicator, you're going to find that your optimizations will also run very decently. Okay, so I'm just going to activate the strategy with default settings. You'll notice too that we've got a section over here for our global money management for our daily stops and targets. So if I activate those as an example, it will come up on there. So when I activate the strategy right now, just like this, okay, you will see that it's got this text at the bottom. So this text at the bottom is going to give you the historical performance of that strategy, of all the data that the chart has, but it's also going to give you this little section at the bottom, which is going to tell you how much money your strategy has made or lost since it was enabled. So it's a very nice little snapshot, and I'm not sharing my goddamn screen. Just realized that. Crazy. I always do that. Gotta fire my sidekick, man. Okay, so as I was showing a few seconds ago, before I wasn't doing the screen share, is the strategy settings themselves. I'm just waiting for my yeah, there we go. You're going to see in the strategy settings themselves, you've got this include trade history. There's the indicator. So those really help in optimizations, but they also help with giving NinjaTrader less work to do. So if you untick the box to include the indicator, NinjaTrader is going to have very, very little, very little work to do, basically. Okay. So we've just activated it with normal settings, like I've said. Enable, apply, and okay. So like I said, it's going to show you since the strategy was activated and also how much it was going to do afterwards. Okay, so that's a cool little feature, and this will eventually be in every single strategy. Currently, it's in this strategy and the baseline wick trader strategy. So it's not a huge update, but it's a nice little update because it gives you a snapshot of what your current net profit is since the strategy has been activated. So very, 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 very cool. Okay, this has just got the basic features. Like, if you're activating the strategy and you're not using stops and targets, you can click a button, to use a trailing stop, and then obviously you can move your stops and targets when you've got that active. So that's for your optimization. If you're not running stops and targets, you can quickly add a trading stop if you wanted to. And that's in the settings of the strategy. And the cool thing over here too is if you're doing regular strategy optimizations in real time and you've got your strategy running like it is, you can go and adjust these settings over here. So these are the sliders on the chart for setting A and B. And you'll notice when I move the slider, it updates the indicator and it updates the strategy. So what will happen now is the strategy will start acting on those specific signals. So if you go into the strategy settings, you will see that the B setting now has changed to 43. And if I go to like the A setting and I make that, I don't know, let's make it 6. the exact same thing will happen in there. Is the strategy is now going to start acting on those very specific settings. So as you saw in the previous little section for manual trading, when you run optimizations, you get those A and B settings. Well, you can optimize your strategy up until current price and adjust those settings accordingly. So you can do this all on the fly without having to, stop the strategy and restart it. And you'll see that all the settings of the indicator are being updated. So the strategy is now going to start acting on those new settings, but it's not going to show you at the bottom what those new settings have done historically, which is why I added this nice little feature to tell you how much your strategy has made since it's been enabled. If you did want to refresh your chart to see what those specific settings have done previously, which you won't really have to do because your strategy analyzer is going to give you those results anyway, you could just refresh the chart. Now obviously when you refresh the chart, it's going to give you the updated results of those settings, the 643, from the beginning of the chart. But that's not necessarily going to be what you want to do. That's just like a visual thing, if you wanted to see what those have historically done. But generally what you'll be doing is you'll be adjusting these settings in real time and just let the strategy start acting on those new signals going forward, because that's what your analyzer has basically, told you to do. So very cool way to automatically just update, or, a cool way to just update your settings on the fly without having to adjust any of your parameters. Because mainly when you do optimizations, it's only really the A and B settings and the tick delay that you are going to adjust. So like there's your tick delay. You'll see it goes all the way up to 60. Okay. But then it also has a extension of a slider, which can make it go all the way to 600. So, you're not going to be likely using a very high tick delay. Generally, it's going to be, between, depending on the bar size. So if you've got a 20, you'll be doing in increments of 20. So it'll either be 0, or it will be 20, or it will be 40, or it will be 60. So that's just a way of doing your optimizations and running and then adjusting those settings, those 3 settings, to work accordingly. And obviously your trade size. So if you want to enter 2 contracts instead of 1, you can adjust that. And that's also going to make the strategy do that in real time. So very, very cool. Very, very cool feature. Okay, so that had a major overhaul, this system over here, because I had to rebuild an entire part of the indicator and strategy for that to work very effectively. Okay, so I'm going to just deactivate this now, and I'm going to go into back into the strategy settings over here. And before I cover this, I just want to make sure if there's anything else that I've missed over here. And you can also change your profit and loss text color. So whatever color you want to have at the bottom of your chart for your profit and loss, you can adjust that. Okay, so also I've done a little update to our global money management for the account level. Okay, just one second. Okay, I got a message saying feed stopped, but I think we're good. Just comment in the group calls chat if you want to say anything, because I'm not monitoring the other chats. I'm trying to just keep focused over here on very specific chats. So there's a one that's called group calls under what you call it, under the settings, under the Discord text channels. I put here in there at the moment. Okay, so that's that. So the account. So this is also a very nice little feature. So if you, for example, have your strategy target and stop. So say, for example, you may have optimized your strategy to do $4,000 a day. That's 40,000. So say, for example, you've currently got your strategy optimized for these values, okay? But you know what? You'll say, I only want my account. So you'll select your trading account over here. You will say, I want my account not to drop by more than $2,000. Or you know what? I'm happy for my account to stop trading once I've hit $2,000 profits. So that's what that can do. So the strategy will still run as if it's gunning for 4,000, 4,000, and 3,000, trading drawdown and stops and targets. But your trading account will say, I've had enough. I'm stopping at these values. And then trading will stop for the trading day. And obviously the next session, when the next session starts, these will reset and it will be 2,000 again. So this is a way of also doing trading drawdown. So you might say, I'm happy to trade this strategy, but I don't want my account to have more than $1,000 trading drawdown. Then it will stop trading. So obviously it's not a good idea to have these very, very distant apart, because the strategy is programmed and optimized to work with these values. So, be mindful, that you don't want to have these way off course, unless you're doing like, stops and targets, in your strategy where you're targeting very specific values, in here, like 60 and 40 or 50 and whatever target stops and target ticks. Your strategy can trade, and then when it's hit a certain value, it will automatically stop trading because your account level has been reached. So that's a cool feature to actually use for your strategies too. All right, now let's look at this auto optimize feature. So our game plan the week ahead, which we'll look at in a moment, is using this feature. But what you guys can all do now is you can load up the Analytical Strategy 1, okay? Go to Template and go Load and select number 4. Okay, so you've Analytical 1, Template Load, you've done number 4. And what you're going to see now is that this button is going to be automatically populated, and we've automatically selected a template here from the drop-down box. Okay, now you will see that, look at the setting for A, setting B, it says 59, 59, all of those are, they're not the right settings, okay? But because we've got this box ticked, your strategy is going to automatically download the correct settings for your strategy. Okay, so you're going to do this. So once you've loaded the template, you're going to select your trading account. So I'm going to select template 1, strategy 1. I'm going to click on enable, apply, and OK. So as soon as you've done that, as soon as you've loaded the strategy, just click on F5 on your trading chart, and that is going to automatically update your strategy settings and give you your profit and loss over here. Okay. Now I haven't re-optimized this template for this specific trading time, because I think this was on a different value. It was on a 30-30, I think. I optimized this for a 30-30, but that's not the important part right now. We'll leave it on a 20-20. No, let's just leave it on the 20-20. That's fine. Okay. So this is if you go into your strategy settings now, you will see that your setting A has been updated, your setting B has been updated, your tick delay, stop ticks, target ticks, your trading hours 105 to 450, all of these have been updated. If there's blackout periods, they would be ticked or unticked. The trading days, if it's trading trend, which specific signals it's going to trade. So all of that. And I think what I did is I optimized this on NQ. That's maybe why initially, no, it's not. But it doesn't actually matter what we're looking at the results right now. I'm just showing you the feature. So what we've got over here is we've got our strategy now. Okay. And because we selected that specific template, we've ticked that box. So if all of you guys have loaded this chart, and again, all you need to do is load up, the custom range of between where we exactly were. So we were, remember I said we must do the last Sunday. Okay, so last Sunday, up until now. Those are the settings. Now, what I'm going to be doing on my side is I'm going to be loading up my tool on the back end over here. Okay, I'm just going to load this on my side over here. And I'm going to go template. I'm going to just do something on the back end here. All right. So what I'm doing over here is I'm going to be running my strategy analyzer. So here, this is what I was telling you earlier about the strategy. So template number 4, I'm optimizing 60-60, and we were running the MNQ over there, and it was a 20-20. That was the specific bar size. Okay. Now, this is not what you guys are doing. This is my side. Okay. So I'm doing this, and I'm going to optimize this between 2 and 10. And I'm going to do this one over here between 2 and, come on, NinjaTrader, Jesus, 2 and 58 in increments of 2. Come on. Wow. Okay. And then the last one I'm going to do over here is the setting C of between 1 and, I'm doing a larger optimization, which is okay, 1 and 57. And generally I will do this in advance, which is what I've done for the game plan this week, which we'll look at in a moment. Wow, it's amazing how this thing, just has a lag when you're working inside this tool. Okay, so I got that. I got the strategy loaded. I got my optimization. I'm doing the very specific. So I'm going to say to let's go to 7:50 a.m. and 7:50 a.m. So you see, I'm choosing settings in here. Okay. Now, if I'm going to click on run on this in a moment. Okay. Now you're going to notice that this strategy over here, when I activated that template, it's trading between 1:05 a.m. and 4:50 with these settings, 646.00. And you will see in the strategy settings, all of those values are basically showing over here. So we've got stop ticks, target ticks. We've got our 1:05 to 4:50 p.m. So those settings are all populated. And, they've got our daily stop and target. So you'll see that's 4,000 over there. I didn't adjust it on the optimization, which is not important for this very specific thing of what I optimize. But what I'm doing over now on my other system is I'm running the optimization for this template, and all of these values over here are going to update. So as soon as I've completed that process, which is just running on my other machine, you'll see it's in process over there. It's taking a bit longer than I expected it to. Not a terrible long time. I know that when I'm running a few things on the system of mine, that NinjaTrader is a very, 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 very high consumer of the system. So because I'm running vMix and I'm running a few things on my system at the moment, it's consuming a lot of memory, but NinjaTrader is the main culprit. It destroys CPU when you're running optimizations. So generally, it runs a little bit faster on my side, but I'll just wait for that to complete. Another 2.5 minutes. So what is going to happen on the back end is, this, I just want to make sure I'm not going to double tick on things here. What's going to happen on this side is your strategy running on your system. So you guys have all got this chart loaded at the moment with this exact same template. What's going to happen is every single minute, this strategy is going to be checking against the server to see if it has the correct settings going forward. So any work done on the back end with optimizations, with trading hours, with stop ticks, with target ticks, all of those things can be optimized in the back end and will be automatically pushed through to your strategy, so that your strategy will start acting on those new settings as it comes in. So just like I showed you in the previous little section where, or in this video a few minutes ago, where I was showing you the sliders, how the sliders adjust. Well, it's a similar concept, but it's automatically done for you guys. So, all of these, as long as you've selected a very specific template and you've selected the auto optimize by using that template, then your specific trading chart is going to start acting on all of those signals coming in. So now I know I'm repeating myself, but this is quite an incredible update, because your strategy is going to now start acting on those new settings. And last week we had a few issues with it where there was a bit of inconsistencies, and that's because the signal and the indicator weren't 100% aligned. That has actually been completely resolved. So we're going to see matching trades between systems now. But the really, really cool thing about this is all you have to do is load up a chart with the date range like it's stipulated in the document, and every single other thing is done for you. So your strategy is going to automatically adjust settings based on trading hours, your setting A, your setting B, stop ticks, target ticks. So somebody on the back end is doing optimizations on specific templates, and without you having to reload your chart or without you having to go and adjust any settings, your chart is just going to trade according to the latest optimized settings that have been passed through to you. So I'm about to do that right now. So I'm just waiting for this confirmation to come through. So I'm going to go just on my other side over here. Okay, so this was the latest optimization. And as you can see, I've just done a small little patch of data. Okay, I've done a small little patch of data on a 60 target, 60 stop. I mean, it's not a huge run over this. But the point of this, on this very specific one, is to show you how these settings update. So as you can see, my analyzer has given us settings of 244 and 43. So you'll see over here, this is your strategy running as it is. And what you're going to notice in a few seconds is that these settings are all going to update automatically. So we'll just give it a second to make sure that that is on the go. So we're expecting this to update to 244.43. So we're expecting these buttons to adjust. And also at any time, if you wanted to check if we got the latest settings, because sometimes your strategy will be set on like a 60-minute timer, and that's all dependent on what the back end is pushing through. So say, for example, the strategy, the person doing the optimization chooses, well, he's only going to push through settings every 60 minutes, then he'll change the setting in the strategy to push settings every 60 minutes. Then yours will automatically update in that sense. So it doesn't have to be by the minute thing. It all depends on what the strategy has been done on the back end. And what optimization is taking place. What are we doing? Scalping trades for a short period of time? Is it running there? So like there, as you can see, there it automatically updated. So 244.43. So if we're going to our strategy settings now, you will see that those settings have all updated. Now, what's going to happen now is your strategy is going to automatically start trading based on those new settings going forward. Now, I can do other optimizations on my side over here. So for example, I'm going to disable the stop and target ticks. So I'm going to run another optimization on my side, and we're going to see that. I'm just monitoring my messages. Oh, my server went and disconnected. That's just great. Thanks. Just give it a second. I have to restart it. It might be that my strategy analyzer is consuming so much resources. So what's happened over there? That's updated, right? So all of you that are running this chart will see that your settings have updated. So every single person who did exactly what we just did now, loaded up the template, will see that those charts loaded. Now, if you wanted to see the results of those previous results of those performance, all you have to do is click on the F5 and refresh, and that's going to all automatically update to those visually. It's going to show you what that strategy has done historically. Okay. So that is what that's going to do now. But you don't have to refresh the chart, because those settings are going to automatically update, and the strategy is going to act on those new settings. So you don't have to refresh the chart, and that's why I specifically put the second addition at the bottom here to tell you how much money your strategy has made or lost since it was activated. That's why it's not necessary to actually, refresh the chart. Because remember, the settings may update during the trading day to all different trading hours, stop ticks, target ticks. I mean, we're going to be running optimizations on the back end to make sure that, the current strategy settings are best suited to the heartbeat of the market. Because generally what our indicator is that's running these strategies, as we saw in the manual trading section we just covered, is it's a heartbeat indicator. So it's giving us what is the current heartbeat of the market, what is happening currently in the market, and we are basically updating and staying in sync with that. Now, it's obviously not going to be 100% like perfect where we're going to get 100% accurate trades, but it's doing its very best to keep you on the best settings possible that currently identifies the heartbeat of the market. So, that is the whole concept behind this. And it's also good for, just sending out templates without having to manually go and upload and download templates. So there's a lot of benefits to this. And, while my optimization is running on my other machine, because what I've done now is I've done an optimization, but I've disabled the stops and target ticks. Okay, so I'm just letting this run, and this is taking quite a while. It normally takes about 1.5 minutes, but it might be because I've got a few things running at the moment. So we'll just let that complete. And also, with this feature, it's going to be added to other strategies. So there's going to be a few members of our community who are going to be allocated very special assemblies that they are able to save templates, and those templates are automatically pushed to everybody using, that specific chart. So that's one of the amazing benefits, which is not only going to help or speed up their own work, but it's also going to, help a lot of the members who don't know how to go and load strategies, choose specific settings, make sure everything's lined up, or even if settings are updated after a trading session or during a trading session, those settings can be automatically updated to every person using that chart. And also, as an example, if, say, for example, somebody created a template and the results have been phenomenally well, and he's decided, you know what, we've captured enough of the market, we're happy to stop trading now, he can quickly update that template to change the trading hours. So then everybody will be cut off at a specific time too, based on that. So that's another one of the incredible examples of what this actually is capable of doing. So I'm going to do another upload over here in a moment. And I just want to check something on my side over here. Yeah, my NinjaTrader is extremely laggy today for some reason. And I don't know why that is the case on my other system. So I'm just going to do like this over here. Come on. Okay, so template, I'm just saving this on my side over here. Okay, so I've just sent through new settings to this strategy. Okay, so what's going to happen now is within a minute, because remember we've got a timer in here that's been determined by the settings that have been uploaded. And what's going to happen now is you're going to notice that these specific settings, this 244.043, is going to change within a minute. So as soon as I've uploaded it, because I've got a minute set in my setup, in my system at the background, your strategy will receive those new settings. Again, if I click the account button, those settings will automatically update immediately. But I'm not going to do that right now because I want to show you guys in real time how these settings just basically update. So we'll give us a few more seconds to update. And we're expecting this to change to 1052.053. So we're expecting these values to change. And it should be 1052.053. And also the stop and target ticks have been disabled for the new template. So the new settings do not include stop and target ticks. So there we go. You see the stop ticks went off, target ticks went off, and the new settings have been pushed through. So if you go into your strategy settings now, you will see that those new settings are pushed through. So this is the gist of basically what the system is. And what's going to happen now is this strategy is going to start trading based on those new settings without you having to actually do anything at all. And if I wanted to, I could refresh the chart. But like I said, also, we don't have to do that because those settings are going to apply going forward. And also, I said earlier, if you click on the account button, it will update those settings if they haven't updated in the last minute or two. So if you click on the account button and it goes purple, what that means is it's checking the download settings, but it will only do so after 2 minutes of its last download. So it won't download more frequently than 2 minutes. That's just like, a thing over there. Okay, so isn't that pretty cool? So the only thing someone has to do is load up a chart, which is defined by the document. So if I look at the strategy, so if I go into the strategy settings, and by the way, if I click on F5 and I refresh this chart, you will see that those new settings would have done 1,263 with 100% accuracy. Like that's based on those settings. And you can see that those settings over there, they're not using stops and targets. It's just trading. It's just trading from signal to signal. But again, you did not have to refresh the strategy because the strategy is just going to automatically start trading on those new settings. Okay, I'm going to close that. So first of all, I'm going to go into strategies and do this. Now, this process is exactly what we're using on our game plan for the week ahead. Okay, so I'm going to just go and remove the strategy. Okay, and I'm going to close this chart and I'm going to go to my workspace game plan trading week ahead. Okay. Okay, I just want to remove these strategies. I initially loaded them on my live account, but I've now logged into my 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 Kinetic feed. Okay, so our game plan for the week ahead, which is very cool. So we've got a game plan chat on Discord, which obviously is there. So we've got, if all members have got access to our our game plan chat. So that's the automated strategies game plan, and it's basically showing over there. All you're doing now is you loading up your game plan workspace like we just did. Okay, so you can see we loaded up the workspace. Now this is the document that we have for the game plan, and this is going to tell us what we're doing this week. So we've got to have the 18th of May assembly, which is all that. The same as applies before, but it's telling us over here that this trading week will be running 3 NQ charts using the auto update feature, where I'll be pushing updated settings to the strategy, which I just demonstrated. And we're going to be trading between the hours of 10 p.m. and 7:50 a.m. New York. So whenever you activate your strategy between those, even if you do it now after this call, your charts will be, your strategy will be trading from 10 p.m. to 7:50 a.m. New York. Okay, and so what I've done over here is I've set this up so that if you guys have different funded accounts, like as example, if say for example some of you guys have Apex trading funder accounts, you might want to load one chart for every strategy that we're loading. Okay, and then do that. So this is the link to that to this document. So if you go over here, come on, if you go to that link and you go over there, okay, you're going to notice that that specific link is also inside the Analytical Strategy 1. So that's the same link in there. Okay, so that link is going to take you to this document here, and it's saying, okay, this is what we're doing this week. This document is for use the auto optimize feature. Okay, templates are updated in real time as I demonstrated. You can load up the template in your strategy settings that matches the name here on the document. So this strategy is part of the game plan this week, templates 1, 2, and 3. Simply load the instrument and template stated. And like I said, if you've one account, you can do it on, if you've got a large account, you can run all on one, or you can do separate. So this is all what we're going to do. So there's the NQ, it's a 30-30. We're going to load the Analytical Strategy 1, selecting template 1. And then we're going to refresh the chart immediately. Okay, so strategies. And a good thing to just always check to be safe is go to your data series and make sure you got the last 2 Sundays. So that's exactly what we have. We have this, we have today and last Sunday. Okay, but that will automatically be pushed in the workspace anyway. Okay, so we're going to go to strategies and we're going to go to Analytical Strategy 1 and we're going to go template, load. We're going to load number 1, load. You see it's got the box ticked. It's got the right template ticked. All we're doing over here is we're selecting our very specific trading account, enable, apply, okay, F5, refresh, boom, strategy done. Number 2, strategies, Analytical Strategy 1. Sorry guys, this is a much longer call and I may have dropped some of you, but you can always, I'm going to timestamp this thing very well. Okay, template, load, number 2, load. Now, the reason why I'm just flying through this is because it says over here, the first document, the first strategy, it says it's an NQ chart, it's a 30-30, strategy, load strategy 1. And as soon as you load strategy 1, it's going to give you a screenshot over there, okay, which will sometimes match depending if the settings have been updated or not. It's just showing you that that's what the strategy looks like. The second one is an NQ 2020. Okay, so that's the second chart that we're looking at over there. And all we're doing is we're going to the template, we're loading template number 2, exactly as the document says. We're not adjusting any of the settings. You can see they're all out of whack. We're not adjusting any of those settings. And we're going to enable this on our second account, enable, apply, OK. And we're going to refresh the chart. And you only refresh the chart initially. You don't have to refresh the chart, afterwards, ever again, for the rest of the week. You don't have to do anything for the rest of the week. It's only if you're restarting NinjaTrader and you are, restarting the strategies, then you would have to go and, load up the, the strategies again, exactly like we're doing here. Okay, this one, same thing over here, strategies, and I've even made it simple on the bottom of the chart to show you, which template it is. Okay, so we go analytical strategy 1, we're going to go template, we're going to go load. This one's number 3. You see there's up to 10 over here, which can be populated. It's automatically selecting the box. We're selecting our trading account, enable, apply, and OK. And refresh. Okay, now your strategy is if you don't touch your VPS for the rest of the week, if you don't touch it at all, and you don't have any other workspaces or any other things open, you can let this game plan run for the entire week without doing anything. So that's what is possible over here. But what I do want you guys to do is, once the trading day has completed. Now, remember, you've just refreshed the chart once. Okay, you've just refreshed it once. As the trading day commences, you're going to see that these values at the bottom are going to change, as well as the top one. It's going to tell you what the current day, since it was enabled, how much it was. So if you leave this for the whole week, it will give you the results for the whole week. But what I would like you guys to do is, after a specific trading day has completed, so at 7:50 or at 8 a.m. in the morning, just come to the chart and go strategy performance and go real time. Take a screenshot of your trades for the session. Okay, take a screenshot of it, pop it in your Discord chat. So come to the Discord chat, go to game plan results, post your results in here for the trading day. So just post your results in there. Okay, and then once you've posted your results, just click F5 on the chart. It'll refresh it so that it resets this bottom value, and then let the next trading day continue. So that's all I ask for you guys to do. So those are the 3 charts. So during the day, there's going to be work done on optimizations. I may even choose a very small window of time to do scalping trades where we're only targeting like 20 ticks with a 40 tick stop. It's like very, very fast in and out trades. But then later on, settings could be adjusted to 100 stop and 100 target. So all of these settings, like I showed you earlier, can be updated on the back end, but you don't have to do anything except for just let the chart run on your side. So that is it. And what I've done for the 4th chart, is I've just added the show me the money signal chart. So this is what I would love you guys to be able to do this week, is if you got your 4th Apex account or whatever account you're using, use your 4th one to do some manual trades. And it might even just be scalping. You might just be scalping 1 or 2 bars. Like you might see something like this, breakout volume marker, price come between, you're scalping between these. So say, for example, it's like, I'm going to quickly chase this. I'm going to just do a little scalping trade over here. All I want to do over here is I want to target this bar over here, because as it looks like at the moment, price is just bouncing around the breakout volume marker and another breakout volume marker. Yes, the momentum line is up. It's a little bit of a tricky one because we're going to make sure our stop is in the right place. But all we're doing over here is we're doing a little bit of scalping, and we're trading, even if it's like 20, 25, 30 ticks initially, with a stop like that, I mean, we haven't got a huge discrepancy between, target and stop ticks. So, we can enter a few trades on this without really hurting the account. So, and also over here, you might decide, I'm going to enter over here going up because the momentum line is up and all that. So, you could do little scalping trades on here. But, we're in quite a precarious position over here. Obviously, the price is going to jump out at any moment. But, you may just decide, I'm just going to do a little bit of scalping between some levels. Now, obviously, I just jumped into a position over there. But, that wasn't even a very bad position because, of how price has had this resistance over here lately. So, that this type of thing can be done. And, all we're doing over here is we're trading between, we're trading to guaranteed price levels. We know the price is either going to go over here if it breaks out, or it's going to come back down over here to meet this level. So, that's where we currently are. Now, obviously, over here would have been a better to do a long position up because the momentum lines up. But you know what? There's still a reasonable chance of this being successful. Okay, because the price is kind of between a rock and a hard place. That's what the definition is of, the price between breakout volume markets. So use your fourth chart to enter some manual trades. And then use your 3 charts over here to run the game plan. And if your system can handle it, load up the workspace for the scalping trading. Okay, so then that's going to load up a separate workspace where you can go and load separate accounts and be trading, based on what you are doing over here. So, you might be looking at this chart, there's your show me the money. Then you can see the price went back down to the baseline. You can see it went back. There's your thing. So you could be trading this, but obviously don't use the same accounts that your game plan is running on, because if you click close or something on these trades, it's going to stuff up the workspace, right? So always make sure that if you are entering positions, if by some chance you are entering positions on the same account, make sure you've got your stop and your target that is dictating the closing of the positions. Because if you click on close over here, it's going to destroy all the strategies running on that account. Okay, going back to our game plan, there's our workspace, game plan, trading week ahead. Boom. So, that's it. So we did this little manual trade over there. You can see it just, it just did a little there, $100. So just a small little trade. And actually an amazing idea would have been to go along over there, because as you can see, the price is bouncing between these areas and all you're doing is targeting one bar. I mean, it's not complicated. It's like there's so many opportunities over here to be like scalping the market, especially when you're seeing things like this. Price coming through, breakout markers left behind, coming back, retesting breakout markers. I mean, it's a freaking gold mine, actually, what you're looking at. Okay, so that's it, guys. An hour and a half call. That's probably one of my longest. But I am going to timestamp this call for you guys to review certain aspects of it. And I hope it was informative enough. I'm super excited about the week ahead because I'm going to be pushing new settings to the strategies. I'm going to be, we're going to be documenting all of our results over here. And I'm expecting a really, really cool kick-ass week. Whew. Now I need a coffee. Actually, you know what? Maybe a rum and coke. Yeah, we'll see. Actually, shit, it's only 11:30 in the morning for me, so maybe not. Guys, have a fantastic week, and let's just kick ass with the system. We've got an absolutely incredible system over here. $59 a week for this elite system, which has surpassed everything that exists. There's nothing on NinjaTrader that even comes close to what we have over here. I mean, the entire concept, the entire way that we do trading is so revolutionary. It's left everybody else behind. I mean, there's people out there still stuffing around with 5-minute bars, 15-minute bars, 16-minute bars, all made up bar sizes. When we are looking at guaranteed price levels, we're looking at incredible signal charts that are a combination of tools, not just bits and pieces, but a proper combination of tools that gives us a very clear and accurate description of what price is likely to do next. So we have it. We have the most incredible system, and I'm really excited to continually develop it. And this auto optimize feature, it's going to be pushed to a lot of the other strategies. And then it's a whole different world. We're in a whole different ballpark, because the strategy that this is in at the moment, the Analytical Strategy 1, is not even near our most profitable strategy. Our most profitable strategy is, the baseline wick trader, Medina wick trader. When these are all automatically updated on the fly with somebody behind the scenes, using updating settings, it's a whole new ballpark. So I really appreciate you guys, who are part of the DTB system, part of the DTB traders community. And, we're only just getting started, really. We're only really just getting started. And this is going to be, one of the most powerful movements in trading. And I'm so excited to be on this journey with you. Thank you, guys. And we'll chat soon. Cheers.